She serves without needing applause, because her eyes are not fixed on the crowd, but on the cross. She does not serve to be seen, but because she has seen him, the servant king who knelt to wash dusty feet. She has tasted the grace of God and now pours it out freely, not for recognition, but for reverence. Her heart beats for what heaven values: humility, love, and unseen obedience. She does not seek a stage or a spotlight. She seeks to reflect Jesus in the quiet corners of the world. Her greatness is not measured by platforms, followers, or influence, but by how she kneels in secret places, on kitchen floors, in hospital rooms, by bedside prayers. She understands that the most powerful ministry often happens where no one but God sees. She knows that true strength is not found in how loudly she speaks, but in how gently she loves. In the secret place, her spirit is refined, and in the hidden acts of service, her crown is formed. She follows the example of the king who wrapped a towel around his waist and served without hesitation. Her strength is not found in control, manipulation, or power plays. It is found in compassion, in the ability to feel deeply and act sacrificially. She pours herself out like costly perfume, not holding back even the broken pieces. Her life is an offering, cracked open and spilled for the sake of others. While the world chases titles and applause, she chooses the towel. While others measure worth in status, she measures it in surrender. Her reward is not earthly approval, but the smile of the one who sees in secret. And in the end, when others are still seeking greatness, she will have already found it at the feet of Jesus. She speaks with grace, not the kind that flatters, but the kind that flows from a heart aligned with heaven. Her words are not careless or shallow. They are measured, intentional, soaked in prayer and wisdom. When she opens her mouth, it is not to draw attention, but to draw hearts back to truth. She carries the authority of a lioness, strong, fearless, but not reckless. Her strength is not in volume, but in substance. She does not need to shout, because when she speaks, something shifts in the atmosphere. Her words have power because they are not her own. She speaks from a place of communion with God, and that intimacy gives her voice weight. She knows when to encourage and when to correct, when to comfort and when to confront. Her tongue is not a sword of destruction, but a tool of healing, and yet, when needed, it becomes a sharp arrow of conviction, piercing through lies, breaking chains, and awakening hearts. But just as powerful as her speech is her silence, she has learned that some battles are won not with many words, but with restraint. She does not need to prove herself in every argument or react to every provocation. Her silence is not weakness. It is wisdom, a weapon wielded with discernment. She does not speak to be heard above the crowd. She speaks to be remembered in the stillness. People lean in, not because of her volume, but because of her depth. Her voice echoes heaven. Her story is not one of absence, but of sacred hiddenness. To the untrained eye, she seems forgotten, left behind, perhaps invisible, but heaven sees differently. Just as Moses was hidden in the cleft of the rock, so he could behold the glory of God without being consumed, so she too has been hidden, not cast away, but protected, set apart for something deeper. The silence surrounding her is not emptiness, it is reverence. The solitude she endures is not punishment, it is preparation. For the deepest works of God are often done in the secret places, away from the gaze of the crowd, behind the veil. She is not absent from the world, but woven into it in a way that few notice. She is the whisper in the chaos, the stillness in the storm. The world, loud and hurried, rushes past her, looking for the next spectacle, the next performance, the next voice to shout above the noise. But God is not always in the whirlwind. More often, he is found in the hidden things, in the seed beneath the soil, in the oil pressed in secret, in the wilderness where prophets are formed. And so, in his wisdom, he allows her to be hidden. Hidden not because she lacks value, but because her value is too sacred to be exposed carelessly. The world celebrates the scene, the spotlight, the stage, but heaven moves through the unnoticed. The greatest miracles were born in hidden places, in a manger, in a tomb, in a quiet garden where blood fell like sweat, and so her life, too, becomes a hidden place, a chamber where God speaks, where mysteries unfold. She walks through her days like a temple veiled, bearing truths that are not broadcast, but carried. Her loneliness becomes the altar upon which deeper truths are written, not in ink, which fades, but in fire, which purifies. Every silent night she has spent, every unanswered call, every lonely walk, these have not been in vain. They have been the carving of a vessel. The fire has not come to destroy, but to refine. And as gold is hidden in the earth before it is brought to light, so her story is hidden in the heart of God, waiting for its appointed time. Those around her may not see it. They may assume she has nothing to offer. But heaven knows, heaven remembers, heaven watches. She is not forgotten. She is sanctified. In her quiet suffering, she bears a beauty the world cannot explain. And when the time is right, when the fire has finished its work, what was hidden will be revealed. And the world will see not just her, but the glory of the one who is shaping her all along. Her hiddenness will be her strength, and her story will not be one of absence, but of glory unveiled in due time. She is a parable, a living message written not with words, but with her very life, a vessel carrying the mystery of divine presence in the midst of human silence. She does not stand in pulpits, nor is she surrounded by a circle of admirers, but her existence itself speaks. She walks through this world quietly, unseen by many, misunderstood by most. Yet the heavens look upon her with a gaze of deep knowing, for she carries within her the sacred paradox, the hidden nearness of God in the absence of human closeness. Like the woman at the well, she comes alone. There is no crowd, no companion beside her. She draws water not with laughter and company, but in the stillness of her own thoughts. Yet it is in this very solitude that something divine happens. For it was when the woman at the well came alone that she encountered the Messiah. No one else was there to witness it, no friend to testify, no follower to affirm it, only her and the one who saw everything she ever did and still spoke to her with kindness. Likewise, the woman with no friends may be nearer to the heart of God than she realizes. In the absence of others, she makes room for the one who truly sees her. In a world that celebrates popularity and praises connection, she seems out of place. She is not chosen, not invited, not welcomed into the inner circles. But what the world sees as rejection, heaven sees as an opening. While others are distracted by shallow fellowship, she has the space to enter a deeper communion. The world's rejection becomes heaven's embrace. She learns to listen not for the noise of approval, but for the quiet breath of the Spirit. What seemed like emptiness is, in truth, sacred space, space where God speaks, where truth whispers, where identity is restored. And in that holy silence, revelation begins. She comes to see herself not through the mirror of others' opinions, but through the gaze of the eternal. She is not lacking, she is chosen. She is not unwanted, she is being prepared. Her isolation becomes a wilderness, and just like the wilderness where John the Baptist heard the voice of God, she too hears it, not because she was surrounded, but because she was alone. What others avoid becomes her place of meeting. She is a parable written by heaven, a picture of divine pursuit, of hidden worth, of sacred encounter. Her life challenges the assumptions of the world, proving that connection does not always look like community, and that being seen by God is greater than being seen by man. When the world moves on, she remains in the quiet, and in that quiet she is transformed. What seemed like isolation becomes revelation. What seemed like absence becomes presence. She is not forgotten. She is found in the stillness, found in the silence, found in the arms of the one who never turns away. She honors the ancient paths, not out of tradition for tradition's sake, but because she knows they are tried and true, carved by the footsteps of those who walked faithfully before her. While the world bends and twists truth to fit its comfort, she clings to the unchanging word, the anchor of her soul. She does not follow trends or shifting ideologies. She follows the voice of the shepherd who is the same yesterday, today, and forever. Her convictions are not shallow, they run deep, uprooted in the soil of Scripture. The Word is not a supplement to her life, it is the foundation. It shapes her thinking, guards her heart, and directs her steps. She does not read it merely for knowledge, but for transformation. In it, she finds the ancient wisdom of the prophets, the strength of the martyrs, and the quiet courage of those who lived and died for a kingdom unseen. She walks in the footsteps of saints, those who endured fire and flood, persecution and loss, yet were not consumed because the Lord walked with them. Their lives speak through her resolve, their faith echoes in her choices. And like them, she too is willing to be set apart. She is watered daily by prayer. In communion with God, she draws strength for the journey. She does not chase after temporary success, but bears the fruit of eternity, love, joy, peace, and righteousness. Her life is not loud, but lasting. She lives for the legacy that heaven remembers. She rises in the stillness of the dawn, not to impress, not to be seen, but because heaven has summoned her in the quiet. The world may still be asleep, but her spirit is awake, stirred by something eternal. She does not wake to check her phone or rush into the noise of the day. Instead, she enters the sacred place where time slows down and the eternal meets the earthly. Her first breath is not filled with worry or distraction, but with worship. She has come to seek the face of the one who knows her name. While others chase the demands of the day, she chooses the feet of the Master. In the hush of early prayer, she pours out her heart raw, honest, surrendered. She does not come with pride, but with open hands. She lays her desires, her dreams, and even her fears on the altar like Isaac, believing that what she surrenders, God can raise in glory. She understands that surrender is not a loss, but a sacred exchange. Her will for His, her strength for His power, her plans for His divine design. The world might see such devotion as weakness, but she knows the truth. It is in surrender that true strength is born. As she kneels, she is rising. As she yields, she is empowered. Heaven responds to such surrender, not with silence, but with the quiet assurance of purpose. She becomes a vessel of God's will, shaped in the stillness, formed by the fire of devotion.